You mentioned about the deadlifts. Basically, have you found a replacement that is suitable, that you feel is comfortable for your back?
Yeah, I invested in a hip thrust machine. I was like, okay, what exercise can I do without like putting so much burden on my spine? I'm like, okay, I got to toss out squatting. I get rid of deadlifts. RDLs I can do them, but not with barbell. I found dumbbells are a little more comfortable for me. And as long as I round my lower back and I just round over my entire spine actually and do it in that fashion, it doesn't put as much pressure on my lower back. Like once I get into lumbar flexion, that's where it's like, ooh, it doesn't feel too comfortable.
You mean extension?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay. So you're talking about like more like how Berto did it in, I think he had a few videos on that he posted
Yeah,
in
I
his
gotta totally
stories.
round myself over. Yeah.
Got it.
Versus
Okay.
in years past, I kind of do the opposite a little bit. Yeah. So it's
That's
just far more comfortable. The dumbbells, just, I can maneuver the dumbbells where I need to, or bar is a little bit more fixated. And then I just slow down rep speed. Like my eccentrics are definitely on the slower side. Even on the concentric, I'm not like super explosive with that. I kind of control it a lot more. And as long as I'm getting close enough to task failure, then I'm not stressing whether or not I'm getting enough stimulus. So that movement is not really, it's not one I'm pushing myself too hard on. The hip thrust, I've been pushing myself a little bit more on that, but even that, I've had to modify it a little bit. The machine I got, it's got like a platform for your feet for the bottom, so you can kind of get a 90-degree, angle on your with the knee and all that. There's a platform just above that's at an angle, and I have to put my feet up on that one, which cuts off the range of motion, but there's no burden on my lower back whatsoever. So it's far more comfortable. Sometimes, you're looking at like what might be optimal. Hey, let's get full range of motion, or hey, let's get ourselves in the stretch position. Like this is not even in a fully stretched position, but it's what I can do pain-free without any discomfort. And from that point, I've kind of leveled it up. So that's my baseline. And I remember when I just started, I was only able to do just the machine itself, no load. And now I'm able to do like 100, 110 pounds on it. And the weight, it's basically pretty far away from your hip, far away from that fulcrum. So it doesn't require a lot of weight on that machine to feel it. But yeah,
nice.
that's been my go-tos. Those are the two main hinge patterns I'm doing.
It's funny you mentioned that because obviously with social media and everything, and we think, oh, these exercises are good, these ones are bad. You shouldn't do it like this, but you should actually do it like this. Meanwhile, it's like, where's the person in front of you and what's going on with their body, right?
10, 15 years ago, they told you don't let your knees go over your toes.
Right.
And everybody's telling you, you need your knees over your toes, get
Yeah.
better quad stimulus. And
Yes.
I used to get battered like when I was first, started getting on YouTube and all that. Cause when I do like my hack squats, things like that, my heels always come off the ground because I was always driving through my midfoot because I want more quad activation. And I had no issues at all with my knees. And everybody would say, oh man, you're not doing that right. Your foot position, your heels are coming off. You're going to mess things up. And here we are, like 10, 15 years later. 10 years from now, we'll probably look and say, oh, all these people are doing this stretch position, like they're overemphasizing it. It's like, oh, they shouldn't be doing that. Things are cyclical too. They always come back around. You watch people who trained back in like in the black and white days where all the footage is really raw. What were they doing that obviously was working to a certain extent? What were they doing in the 70s? Let's watch them. Let's watch what they did in the 90s and so on. It's like you could probably find some commonalities across all that. And you'll probably find some little different nuances here and there as we've learned more throughout the years.
I like your thought process, Jeff. It's so refreshing, man.
That's being north of 50.
Not everybody north of 50 is thinking like you, though. And I think it has to do with all the coaching, years of coaching, the education, all that plays a role in just your philosophy. There it is.
Yeah, it's just my own personal experience. There's a lot there. And then 15 years of coaching experience. You get to see, like, yes, the science and all that's great because it's kind of a lot of journal recommendations there, but you see different things with different individuals. And it's good to have an open mind towards those things, towards the nuance. Like maybe your hip thrust feels better with a 90-degree, whereas mine feels better by not having that. Depends on the person. And we each have a baseline though. So you're training in one way, I'm training in maybe a different way. But from that baseline, we try to elevate up, right? Whether it's increasing load, reps, or what have you. It's like trying to elevate from that baseline. That's progress. Then you'll have the armchair quarterbacks looking at what you do and look at what I do. And then depending on our personalities, if I have a strong personality, it's maybe dominating. Maybe these people are like going to gravitate more towards it and go, oh yeah, we're going to start bashing Kenny style. So now you have all these people, the followers, right? Like basically emboldening that person. Now they're getting louder and louder and louder. It's unfortunate that's like that. But I've kind of learned now, like, don't let those things get to you too much, and don't ride a high either. Like, because there's always going to be people too, like, oh, you're inspiring and this is great, you're awesome. But it's great to hear those things, but don't let yourself get too high, because we're all human. We're not perfect. We'll do some things good, we'll do some things not so good, and it's good to stay in the middle so you have kind of a level head, so you kind of, in a sense, keep your ego in check either way. Not always
Nice.
easy though. Not always easy. And I think from a longevity perspective, sometimes we always think like, okay, we got to foam roll, we got to stretch all these things for longevity. So more like it starts with the mind, accepting the fact that you don't have a 30-year-old body anymore. You're working with a much older body, and you just have to learn how to pace things. I still use HIIT. This week I've been doing HIIT. I did like today on tap, I have leg press. I have